Hi guys, and welcome to the Christmas edition of the Greenwich Literary Symposium's book club. Cheers guys.
Cheers, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We've been out for a Christmas dinner.
Staff Christmas party.
Staff Christmas party. And now we are reviewing our latest book, which is Alice by Christina Henry.
I'd say it's like a fantasy novel that's loosely, cleverly linked to the story of Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it's set 10 years on from the original Alice in Wonderland story.
Yeah, but a different sort of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically what happens is Alice and someone else kind of are 10 years later in a mental asylum from kind of what happened in the original story. And then it's kind of a fantasy story about all the same characters from Alice in Wonderland, but almost as if it's a bit of story of Alice in Wonderland as told by the creative team of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it, actually. Yeah.
It's really dark and graphic.
Yeah, very graphic at parts.
And a bit gritty. It's trashy. It's fun.
Yeah. What do you mean by trashy?
Yeah, because I don't think it was trashy.
Well, yeah,
Trashy's like 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, right, no, I don't think...
It wasn't a million miles away from Shades of Grey.
Like Reader's Digest, really easy. Like
know,
nothing.
I
It was
thought-
really easy reading. It wasn't particularly well written.
Oh, no, I
think it
disagree.
was.
I thought it was well written.
Yeah.
It read a bit like fan fiction to me. But don't get me wrong, spoiler alert, fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. So much so that I'm halfway through the second book in the in the series.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. But it wasn't as literary.
I thought it was creative and well written.
I did.
I really thought
Yeah.
like the way these ideas sort of all intermingled. I thought was very clever. It was thought out,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I thought it was well written. I thought it was descriptive enough. I thought it was clever the way it was told from her perspective, but it wasn't first person. It was about her and her thoughts and how she sort of judged the other characters and what she thought of them. And I thought all that was really quite clever. I liked it.
So basically, it's like in a different way from you. I would say it's Alice in Wonderland 10 years on is in a mental asylum because her parents didn't believe what she went through. And she's been fed all this medication and everything, and then she meets this guy in the cell next to her, and they escape, and then they go back through. This is one thing I've not said. I really thought, we always say, oh, it sounds like a film, or it sounds like this or that. I felt it very much felt like a video game. Like, right, go through, find your way through the maze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then swim over the water and defeat the baddie.
Oh, right, okay.
And,
So I know what you mean.
yeah.
I enjoyed the sort of very weird dream part of that.
Yeah.
It was like a weird dream, and dreams are really weird. And Alice in Wonderland, the story of Alice in Wonderland is really weird, and it is a bit like a dream. And I liked the way all this sort of weirdness came out of nowhere in a dreamlike way, and it was like you could easily believe that she was crazy, and that it was all sort of.
But then it also showed you that the dreamy way that Alice in Wonderland is, if you take the dreaminess away from the 16-year-old she was, it's actually quite a dark, sadistic, like it wasn't, just, oh, eat all this cake, darling, have as much as you want. Like there's sadistic undertones behind it. And I think this book really shows the seedy side to what really happened to her. And then even further, after she's gone back 10 years later, as to who the rabbit and the Cheshire Cat and all these people really were, and the memories she has of them compared to who they are, and how those memories integrate when actually they're different people.
It's based there's all these different bosses of different areas, and they control people in different ways, and the way they treat women, all of them, is very derogatory. Women are abused and raped and things like that, and that all the way all that, and that's a very strong part of the book, isn't it? Like, it's a huge part of the book.
And it was very interesting. I only thought today, reading the last part, all of the most, all of the key people in the story that ruled these areas, they're all men.
Yeah, they're all
But
men.
then you've got Alice.
Yeah.
And, you know, Alice ends up being the one that comes out on top.
Yeah, that's true,
because
actually.
we know there's other books, so we know that's true.
Yeah.
But it was a very male-dominated story, which you kind of think, well, this day and age, there should, like, where's the women? Like, where's the one woman within the group? But, you know, that was Alice.
So in terms of stars, Katie?
I didn't even ask me first. Okay. 4.5.
Okay.
Because I've not heard what you're going to say yet. That's my reason.
I'm going to give it, I don't like halves, but I'm giving it 4.5 as well, because I loved it beginning to end. I felt the end, the way when she finally meets all of the people she's been planning to meet and fight to the end, I felt I didn't get the fight that had been built up to.
Bit of an anticlimax.
Yeah, I felt like the way she defeated some of the people were a bit of an easy way to write it out of the story.
But I think that comes in it being part of a trilogy. And I can imagine that. I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I can imagine that this is all because this book was about her really getting to know herself, and then once you know her.
But I loved it beginning to end, so only because I wanted more at the very end. Because you invest so much in a book, you want it to turn out the way you think it's going, and when you think kind of you've been misled into how it's going to end, was a bit of a disappointment, but I enjoyed every second.
So I'm going to give it 5 stars. I read it on holiday. It was the perfect holiday read. It was really engaging, beguiling, proper page turner.
Yeah.
But didn't have to think about it too much. Wake up with a hangover, sit in bed and read it with a cup of tea.
Yeah.
In the morning and before I go to bed at night. I just loved it.
Yeah.
So what's next for us, guys?
Katie?
Okay, so we have...
It's another one of our recommendations from her fan, Auntie Anne again.
Auntie Anne. Auntie Anne, if you're watching, big expectations for this because your last recommendations have been absolutely mint. So don't let us down.
Yeah. So Elizabeth is missing.
What does it say?
Do you want me to read it? It says Maud is forgetful. She makes a cup of tea and doesn't remember to drink it. She goes to the shops and forgets why she went. Sometimes her home is unrecognisable, or her daughter Helen seems a total stranger. But there's one thing Maud is sure of: her friend Elizabeth is missing. The note in her pocket tells her so. And no matter who tells her to stop going on about it, to leave it alone, to shut up, Maud will get to the bottom of it. Because somewhere in Maud's damaged mind lies the answer to an unsolved 70-year-old mystery. One everyone has forgotten about. Everyone except Maud.
Sounds great.
Sounds great, actually. Yeah. Really looking forward to it.
So that's our December-January book club selection. Let us know in the comments below if you have read Alice and what you thought of it, or if you've read Elizabeth is Missing and what you thought of that, and we will talk about your comments next month if we have any. Thank you so much. We have been the Greenwich Literary Symposium for Christmas, signing out for 2017. And we will see you in January 2018. Maybe even from Paris.
Maybe.
Or who knows.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.